Good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing? Is anybody even awake? Super early for me. I probably shouldn't be awake right now, but it seems like everybody woke up in the house at 3 a.m. And I decided to go ahead and start my day. Yup. So figured I'd pop on here and say what's up to everybody while I'm finishing waking up. And here in the next little bit, I'm gonna get to work and start doing my readings. But wanted to hop on and say hello if anybody is awake. Here in Vegas, it's like 4 a.m., I think. There's somebody, SG. A couple of you tuning in. Don't know how long I'm going to be on here, but I'm starting to find I haven't been able to find a comfortable schedule, I guess, to get on here and say what's up. There for a little bit, all we were doing was the 22 readings, and we haven't been chatting very much. So it was like we kind of went on a little bit of a hiatus, and we weren't really doing very much behind the scenes stuff. But we cut that out. We cut out the 22s, mainly because like the weekends, even though we're self-employed, we still live, for being self-employed, we still very much live a lifestyle that is very schedule based, So it's taken a little bit, but we're finally, for the last several months now, we're in a routine where it's wake up in the morning at this time, do this, and take the kids to daycare, and then I go to the gym, and then come home, and then me and Leah like maybe eat breakfast or whatever, and then I get to work, and I work all day for the most part, sitting and doing readings and stuff like that. And our weekends is our family time, So we were doing the 22 readings, little live mini readings on Saturdays, and a lot of times, some days we would never know how much we were gonna get. And some days it would be not that bad, maybe 4, 5, 10 of them. But other days it would get flooded and we would have to do like 3 parts, and we'd like to do family stuff on the weekends. So Aquarians are morning people, really? I didn't know that. I've always been a morning person, man. When I was a kid, I was raised real old school. I was taken away from my parents and raised by my grandparents. And my grandpa was real old school. So when I was a teenager, if I would sleep in until like 10 a.m., 11 a.m., he'd be like, well, damn it, Rich, the day's half over now. And it took me the longest time. And when I was a little kid, he would always be up at like 4:30 in the morning. He worked at GE, and he was, what did he do? He was he's like one of the scientists in there that would test and the rubber parts and stuff like that. And he would design the molds for for the refrigerator. Like they were going to make a new model refrigerator. He would design the plastic injection mold that made the new refrigerator. Anyway, he was up early in the morning every single morning. And like many mornings, he would get me up with him, and then we would be leaving. And I can remember as a little kid wondering, man, it's weird being up this early, but it's so pretty seeing the sunrise. And we would go get breakfast. Back in the day, Arby's used to sell breakfast. I don't know if they do anymore, but anyway. And of course, I went as I got older, and got into my teenage years. I started partying and got real bad into drugs and stuff like that. And anyway, though, as I got through my 20s, started getting into my late 20s, I started waking up earlier and earlier and earlier every morning. And it always reminded me of being a little kid, being up with my grandpa early in the morning, And now I'm an early bird. If I sleep in, if I sleep in until 8 o'clock in the morning, that's late. That's like late for me, dude. Yeah, I was a party animal back in the day. I mean, not your average party animal. I was a very weird individual. It kind of runs in my family. Kind of runs in my family, but I was a very weird person. Let's just put it that way. I've never been that normal guy. I've never didn't have any friends growing up, you know, and I really went crazy when I got my heart broke for the first time. Man, when I got my first little heartbreak, dude, when I was like 14 years old, I just went crazy at that point. You know, I got my first little girlfriend, and like whenever we broke up or whatever, my poor little pea picking 14-year-old heart was just in pieces. And I went crazy at that point, you know, and I was just like, man, fuck the world, you know. But I've always been that weird one. I've never had a group of friends that I could fit in with. I've never had never. It doesn't matter. Even when I was a kid, could never fit in with any group of friends. Um, any job I ever worked, I was never really able to make friends at work. I've always been that person, you know. Even to this day, man, look at me. I'm like, the last I looked, I'm even the weird one in the tarot community, I'm pretty sure. You know, as far as I know, the last I looked, I'm even the weird one in the tarot community. I'm a man, which there's more dudes doing it now than there used to be. I'm a straight man. When I very first started reading tarot, I don't really think there were any straight guys doing it that I knew of. Like it was all gay guys, and yeah, so I can't even fit into what I do now. You know, yeah, I'm a different breed. Cool weirdo. Yeah, at least I figured out how to make weird interesting now that I'm older. You know, but I think I was just being prepared. It's so interesting that looking back, it seems like my entire life that seemed like a really dark story, really dark story. It was just preparing me for what I do now. You know, I was bullied real bad growing up just because I was different. I didn't try to be different like I was telling you all the other day. I tried to be normal. I tried to be normal, but I've just never been able to link up with a group of people and, you know, and just be normal and be like everybody else. I've never been able to do that no matter how hard I try, you know? Yeah, star seeds, we are the weirdos, aren't we? I do hear that it is an Aquarius thing. I hear that a lot, yeah. I hear that a lot. Well, we're in the age of Aquarius now. So, officially, you know, it's been the dawning of the age of Aquarius for the past several decades, which I guess in comparison to, you know, however long the age of Pisces lasted, you know, however long that was, I guess you could say it's been dawning for a few decades now. And we're now officially there. We are officially in the age of Aquarius. So maybe that is why. It seems like Aquarians are, I don't know, back when I very first stepped into the astrological community and really started, well, actually, I started studying astrology and whatnot. This is another weird thing about me, you know? When I was about 19 or 20, when I was about 19 or 20 was when I really became fascinated and interested with astrology. And it got to the point where that's the only way I really know how to identify with you when I was in my early 20s, you know, about 19 or 20. It got to the point to where I studied and studied so much, you know, about just mainly I would observe how astrological energies influence people, and I would just observe. And it got to the point to where if I don't know your at least your sun sign, at least, then I feel like there's a big thing missing, that I don't know you that well, you know? And it got to the point where now that I actually have a career in the astrological field, if you want to call it that, it's different now. But back in the day, I could guess your sun sign. And I had like a 98% accuracy rate. And it seemed like that other 2%, if I got it wrong, I could guess your moon sign, you know? I could guess your moon sign. I would sit back and observe because over the years I would just, and you know, of course, it obviously does go much, much deeper than your sun sign, but I would sit back and I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I got this coworker here who is a Cancer. Okay. Well, I'm going to observe this coworker, just observe their emotional reactions and their communication skills and stuff like that. And then, okay, noted, put that information on the back burner somewhere. Oh, and then okay, the next job I get a few months later, oh, I'm working with another Cancer. Okay, let me observe you and take some mental notes and you know whatnot. And let's look at some of the similarities and some of the differences. And let's see if, because I don't like to be that person that just says, "What's your sign?" You know, I don't like to be that person. So I'll figure out how to sneak it in there somewhere. Like, I don't know, figure out, I'd be like, man, I'm dying to know this person's sign. So I figure out a way to be like, so when's your birthday, by the way? You know, just in conversation so they don't have a clue what I'm actually doing. And I would sneak it in there. And then I'll be, oh, okay, so you're Cancer too. And I'd note that. And then I'd go back and research it. And then be like, oh, okay, well, you're a Cancer with a Sagittarius moon. The last person I was observing was a Cancer with a Virgo moon or whatever, you know? And I would just kind of, oh, okay, well, now that I've compared the two of you and your Cancerian nature, now let me compare the Cancer mixed with Sagittarius to the Cancer mixed with Virgo. And this is just the process that I went through with everybody that I got in close contact with for a good 10 years. Nobody knew about it. Very few people knew about it. It was always something that was kind of embarrassing to me, you know? But it got to the point to where that was the only way I was really able to associate with people. That was the only way I could really feel like I understand you. And that's just been me for pretty much my entire adult life. You do that too? Ocean soul goddess, yeah. Do I prefer what kind of astrology? Oh, I don't know, SG. I really, I'm not that knowledgeable about it. Again, excuse me, I mainly specialize in energy behavior. That's been the way energy behaves, period. Not just with law of attraction. That came later, that came way later. But energy behavior and human behavior is a big thing that I've just kind of always, since I've never really had an opportunity or been able to function in a group, you know, very well without being the weird one. It makes it much easier for me to observe people and observe human behavior and observe energy behavior. So as far as astrology, like we were talking the other day about Peace Dealer, and like him, he's a fucking library of information who just, like he does, for those of you who don't know who he is, he's I guess you could call him an astrologer. He does tarot readings sometimes, like on YouTube. But I didn't even know this about him either. I had a friend on Facebook that kept sharing his stuff. And he had some really, really good information. Like I'd be like, man, who is this? This random person. I had this one friend on Facebook. I guess it was a mutual friend of his, and would just post things that he would post, and I'd read them, and I'd be like, well, this seems like a very interesting, very intelligent, awakened, open-minded individual. And I got to looking at his Facebook profile. I'm like, I'm gonna add this dude as a friend. Had no clue who he was. You know, it's so strange. And I added him as a friend, and then I'm looking through his, and I see, oh, he lives in Vegas. Small world. That's interesting. Okay. And then I get to looking through, and I see he's like holding up tarot cards and stuff. And I'm like, what? And then I went and then I found out that he was on YouTube, and I wrote him. I'm like, dude, are you a YouTube tarot reader too? And he goes, yeah. I said, I didn't even know. And I don't even think he knew who I was. You know, I don't even think he was aware of who I was, and I wasn't really aware of who he was. It was just interesting how we linked up on the internet like that. Because, like I said, I had that one friend that everything they posted, I'm like, I keep seeing this post from this person. You know, his real name's Michael. And everything he posts, I'm like, man, you know, I really like associating with, if like, especially on the internet, associating with people who seem very, very evolved and very awakened and very intelligent, you know. And that's all I did, was I just added somebody because he seemed like a very intelligent person. And turned out he's a reader. Well, anyway, um, what was I going? Oh yeah, yeah. So he's really knowledgeable about the things I kind of wish I was knowledgeable about. You know, like he'll do these videos, and he's so creative. He'll be like, Mars in Aries and the moon's in Virgo with the sun in Pisces and blah 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 blah, and he'll just go spilling off onto what it means, and I'm like, damn, I wish I knew all that stuff, you know. But I don't. I just understand how energy influences people, if that makes sense. You know, feeling the full moon in Virgo. Yeah, me too. This was a really interesting, strange morning. I woke up at 3 a.m., which isn't too weird for me. Um, so I get up and I notice my daughter's bedroom light is on, my oldest daughter. So I crack the door. She's wide awake watching TV at 3 a.m. I said, what are you doing up? She said, oh, I woke up at 10. You woke up at 10 o'clock at night and you've been up ever since? She said, yeah, I'm hungry. Can I have a snack? I said, I guess. So then I come in here, which is like my man cave. This is my studio where I work and hang out and drink coffee and whatever. And then all of a sudden, here comes Leah. And I'm like, what are you doing up, you know? Why are we all up in the house at 3 a.m.? And then she texted me a little bit before I came on here, and she said, can you come here? So I went in there, and the cat took off running out the door before I even got to open it, slammed his head on the door. And I said, what is going on? She said, I wanted you to come here and see what's going on with the cat. He's acting strange. I'm like, well, I don't know what's going on energetically. Yeah, intense full moon, that's what I'm thinking. And the funny thing is, me and Leah both have Virgo moons, you know? So, yeah, it's been crazy. But I was getting to a certain point. I don't remember the point that I was getting at a minute ago, talking about, like with Peace Dealer, how he knows a lot about astrology as far as the influence of the planets. And I'm not that knowledgeable about all that, but mainly I specialize in energy behavior. So that's really where my focus is, you know. And again, since I really do it for a living now, it's like any other job. You can get kind of tired of it after a little bit, you know. Like if you work at, for example, Pizza Hut, you know, just for example, if you work there, oh man, after 6 months, a year, you probably don't want to really eat pizza too much, you know, very rarely. So for me, since I sit all day, every day, explaining things about the nature of energy, and I'm constantly talking about different energies and, you know, stuff like that, astrological energies. My brain kind of switches off of that nowadays whenever I'm not on camera and I'm not working, you know. So get sick of pizza. I don't know about that, honestly. That was just an example. I don't know, man. Pizza is my weakness, y'all. And I didn't even have any yesterday for my cheat day, for my diet. I didn't even have any pizza. Usually that's the first thing I go to. Pizza's my weakness. Trying to eat healthier, yeah. Yeah, that can be a challenge. But I tell you what, though, just like anything else, well, here's my thing. I think it's very important to know my role. like in life. I think it's really important. And like with Coach Drew, um, I tried, like I said, uh, when YouTube took over my income and I started making a living on YouTube and doing tarot card readings, which are two different things, by the way. A lot of people don't really understand that. But I get a YouTube paycheck. Google pays me once a month just to put up YouTube videos. And because I'm a partner, so it doesn't really matter what I do. You know, all of us who make a living on YouTube make a living doing the same thing, really. We just get paid a little bitty piece in comparison to the millions and billions of dollars that Google makes. We get paid a little piece of revenue from them putting ads on our videos. So that's what YouTubers get paid for. But on the side, I've also been actually getting paid for doing tarot card readings. And ever since that took over my income, I got fat. um, I got fat. So I tried for about a year. You know, I would get a gym membership here, go for a little bit. And I'm like, man, I really don't know what I'm doing. I can't be motivated if I don't know what I'm doing. If I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm talking about, I'm one hell of a leader. I can be. I don't really like being a leader. That's not my forte. But people always tend to want to follow me and listen to me when I'm very knowledgeable about something. But if I'm not knowledgeable and I don't know what I'm doing, I'm a student. I'm a total, like, I'm a sponge, an information sponge, you know? So of all the attempts that I made to change my diet and work out and exercise and whatnot. Sorry, I'm itching my nose a lot. I got this damn booger. I don't want to pick my nose. Hang on. I don't want to pick my nose on camera. But of all the attempts that I've made to like change my diet and exercise and stuff like that, I've never been able to hold on to it and keep it going because I didn't know if I knew what I was doing or not. So that's why I finally gave up and said, man, I'm going to get a personal trainer. I don't know what I'm doing. And unless I have somebody telling me and teaching me, and I'm not confident, you know, then I'm probably not going to keep doing it because I'm not 100% sure if I'm doing it right. And if I'm not 100% sure if I'm doing it right, I'm not going to keep consistently doing it. Same thing with manifestation, same thing with law of attraction. You know, I didn't, you know, I had to learn, I had to be taught. I didn't make any of this shit up, you know? So that's when, if we finally got to the point where Coach Drew said, all right, I'm going to write your diet out. I'm going to write it out for you, and you're going to follow it to a T. And then at that point, it was real easy for me. It was really easy. I was excited to start something new. I'm like, yes, I'm being, you know, and I don't know for 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he's licensed. Pretty sure he's licensed and or whatever to give the dietary advice or whatever that's called. I'm like 98% sure because he told me about all of his certificates that he has and he's qualified to everything that he does. He's qualified to do. So I'm very like yes. So for the first, I want to say week to 2 weeks, my system was very confused with what I was putting in it, you know, because it's not just what I'm eating, it's my eating schedule. Because the goal is to speed my metabolism up. So it's the eating schedule. So I'm eating like every 2 hours. So it'll be like, you know, 6 ounces of meat, some greens. I just use raw spinach and like either a little bit of sweet potato, a quarter of a sweet potato and rice every 2 hours, you know? So I'm eating every 2 hours. My system's like, what the hell? And after that, though, it became very easy. Now I prefer that diet. I don't really care. Like yesterday was my cheat day. Yesterday was my cheat day. I had a big old fat ass hamburger, you know, big old huge hamburger. And it was all right. You know, but I'm not. I do. Okay, I take it back. I do kind of wish that I had some pizza yesterday. I wish I had some pizza yesterday. But other than that, no, I'm very much looking forward to getting back to the diet today. Love my shirt. Thanks, Bianca. Appreciate it. Yeah, I've been making it a point. Been making it a point to get more like like the clothes that I wear, especially like on camera. I don't know. I just kind of, like I said, I'm always the weird person. So I look at myself and I'm like, man, I'm in the spiritual community. I'm reading tarot cards, but I'm kind of dressed like a sports jock. I'm like, I look kind of weird, man. I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm gonna start wearing more spiritual clothes like I used to back in the day, you know. So, you know, just one of them things, man. This one says spiritual gangsta. Yeah. Always look on point. I don't know. Be my authentic self. Yeah. I'm not very good at faking my personality at all. Not really. There are a few things. I push the boundaries a little bit. I do push the boundaries, but there are guidelines on YouTube, you know. And I do push the boundaries sometimes, but yeah, I'm not very, like I said, it worked against me. It seemed like it was working against me my whole life growing up. And now it's very much working to my benefit. That one of the coolest compliments that I get is that, like, if somebody meets me in person, they go, man, you're the same in person as you are on camera, pretty much for the most part, you know? I'm quieter. That's about the only difference. And the only reason I'm quieter in real life than I am on camera is because, like, when I very first decided to become self-employed, I started doing network marketing, which requires, well, for me, with the team that I was working with, requires, you know, a camera presence on camera. And not that I'm a stranger to putting videos on the internet. I've had several YouTube channels up, and I've not been really camera shy, but actually developing a presence, like in the training that I had for network marketing, they'd be like, look, you know, there's a certain way to grab the audience's attention and to hold their attention, you know? And that's what I do on camera. I just use a couple little techniques. Like, you have, I think they said statistically, well, it is different from YouTube and Facebook, but for the most part, you have a good, the first 5 to 10 seconds of a video to grab somebody's attention, you know? And then maintaining somebody's attention, because I know that I would watch YouTube videos or YouTube readings, especially back in the day. And if it got to the point to where they would just let this long, extended period of silence, I'd click off the video. I'd lose my attention would go out the window, you know? So I try not to have big, long lulls of silence when I'm reading, simply for that. You know, you all hear me go, do, 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 do. You know, I'll even hum little music. I'm always wanting to, you know, be saying something or humming a little tune or something like that, so that there's no silence in there. It's kind of weird, you know. Hang on, watch. Because I'm always humming that little tune. I don't know where it came from. So I started trying to figure it out on the guitar. Hang on. Let me tune it real quick. That's the tune I'm always humming. I was like, man, I gotta gotta see if I can pick that tune out, you know? That's funny. I usually play in drop D though. But yeah, I've been thinking about doing like cover songs on this channel. Everybody's wanting to hear me play and sing more, and I keep telling everybody I'm going to eventually, and I've just been having the guitar sit over there, and I'll just pick them up and play them for like 5 minutes and put them down. But I've been thinking about doing that more on here, especially like I said, since we quit the 2222s, and I cooked the egg last night. I'm like, man, that's something that I can start doing on this channel instead of just chatting. Maybe I'll cook a meal or play a song, cover song. I can't be too loud though. I can't be too loud this morning since my daughter's room is on the other side of that wall. I hope I didn't wake anybody up just now. Leah sleeps with earplugs though, so. Anyway, yeah, I've been thinking about doing that more on here. I want to get me an amplifier, dude. Here's the cool thing about manifestation, right? So, when I was for the longest time I played electric guitar, and was like for the first band that I was in, I played the rhythm and the lead, you know. And they wouldn't hire another guitar player. They said that we would fight, but I don't think that's what it was. They just didn't want to pay any more money to somebody else, you know. But I fell in love with the acoustic guitar when I saw Seether. They did a whole concert all acoustic. So I fell in love with the acoustic guitar because, you know, I thought that was so cool. Oh, look, I got a sticker. I got my logo here on my guitar. But I've been wanting so bad a black guitar with a cutout that's acoustic electric. And I wanted one, and I looked for one for so long, and every time I found one I could never afford it. It would be too expensive. Well, finally I went we went shopping. I was gonna get Nevaeh a guitar mainly for her. And I picked this other one out for me, and this was originally going to be hers. And then I looked and I realized after I bought it, because it was just a pawn shop right across the street from where we live here in Henderson, and they had some dirt cheap guitars, dude. This is an Ibanez, and this was like $100. I'm like, what? $100? And then I saw that Fender over there for like 175. I'm like, dude, that is dirt, dick dog dirt cheap, man. I said, give me those. Give me both of those guitars. And then I found out, I didn't even realize it until I brought it home. I didn't even really look at it very close. It's acoustic electric. You can plug it up. I was like, oh, never mind. I'm keeping this one, and I'm giving the other one to my daughter. I'll show you hers. Hang on. This is the one that I gave her. It's a Fender. So, and it's actually a lot easier to play too. The neck is much thinner. So anyway, yeah. This is the one that I'm teaching my daughter on. And she gets really impatient, so she tries to rush through it real quick. And I'm like, slow down, make sure you're doing it right. But I kind of got this little epiphany the other day that maybe her mind moves faster than that. So I'm thinking about, like, maybe today, if we get the chance to sit down, I'm going to show her a little something different, maybe a little something more advanced. Maybe what I showed her was too boring, you know? So maybe we can, because, okay, I want to teach her like one of the most simple beginner songs that people learn when they play guitar. The song What I Got by Sublime. That's the whole song. That's it. That's it. It's the D chord and the G chord. Early in the morning, rising to the street, light me up that cigarette and my strap shoes on my feet. Got to find a reason things went wrong. Got to find a reason why my money's all gone. I think I could teach her that, because I know the solo, and that would be so cool to teach her that, and then me and her play it together, you know? That'd be cool, man. I would love that. That would be awesome. Yeah, I sing too, a little bit. A little bit. I could use more practice on that. Hang on. But anywho, not sure what time it is. I don't know. Let's see, this has been 38 minutes. I'll stay on another 20 minutes and chit chat. How old is my daughter? My oldest daughter's 10. She's turned 10 February 7th. She was my 23rd birthday present, because my birthday's the 5th, and we had to schedule her a C-section because she was breached with the cord wrapped around her neck when her mom was pregnant with her. So they said, oh, you can't have a natural birth. It's going to be complicated. So we have to schedule a C-section. And they told us around the date, and we said, well, can we do it on the 5th, the same birthday as mine? They were like, no, that's just the earliest, the absolute earliest would be the 7th. You know, and even that was just a little too early, pushing it, you know, just a few days too early. But they said that's the absolute earliest that we can do it is the 7th. So, but that's still close enough, you know. So I turned 23. I was in no shape when I was in my early 20s to be a parent. My God. Oh, in no shape at all, you know. Thankfully, I turned my life around, you know. I lost the kids for a little bit, and they experienced some pretty hard times while I was, you know, off getting my head on straight, spiritually awakening, and getting my life together, and, you know, finally got a good career. And then right around that time, you know, my YouTube channel popped off. I started making good money, and I'm still, like, every time I try to see the kids, something gets in the way. And then it's like the universe lined it up perfectly that as soon as Leah came along, that's when my ex-wife's family hit me up and said, you got to come get your kids now or they're going to get taken away. I said, say no more. I'll be right there. And we flew across the country, picked them up. And anyway, I kind of trailed off, but she's 10. She's my little Aquarius with an Aries moon. And my youngest daughter is a Gemini, a double Gemini. Oh my God. Gemini, sun and moon. She'll be 9, May 23rd. So, yeah. Yep, little Aquarius, little Aries moon, little fireball, little air and fireball. She's like her own self-feeding fire. You know, love her to death though. The funny thing is that she is looks a lot more like her mom. And my youngest looks a lot more like me. I have this picture. If I remember, I think I shared it on Facebook. If I remember, I'll share it again on Facebook. Those of you who follow my Facebook page, where I cropped a picture of my youngest daughter at age 2 and me at age 2, identical twins. Identical twins. You cannot tell us apart other than the quality of the photo. Obviously, when I was 2, that was in 1990. So, the quality of the photo, you could tell which one's me because it looks like an old picture. But yeah. And, but the funny thing about it is that my oldest daughter, even though she looks a lot more like her mom, she's been a daddy's girl since she was born. And then my youngest daughter, the opposite. She was a mommy's girl. Couldn't stand me, even though she looks just like me, I can't help but think there's some karma involved in there, Can't help but think that. But yeah, my oldest daughter, the one I'm teaching how to play guitar, she's been a daddy's girl since the moment she set foot on this planet. Ever since she didn't want to, as a newborn infant, she wouldn't latch onto her mom's tit. She wouldn't, nothing. I was the only one that could hold her from birth. She would only relax in my arms. And like I would take my shirt off and strip her down to a diaper and lay her skin to skin on my chest and pat her butt. It was the only way to get her to calm down. And I was the only one that could do it. Of course, I changed her first diaper. I fed her first bottle. So from birth, she's been a daddy's girl, And the other one, like I said, the exact opposite. And she looks just like me, is the weird thing. Don't really know how that energy works. Not really sure, but yeah. I do the best that I can. And even Leah pointed it out to me when we first got the kids, that I had a tendency to favor my oldest daughter. And she was like, "Whoa, you're not being very fair." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, you treat Nevaeh different than you treat Amy. And she didn't even really, I don't even really know if Leah knew that, the dynamic there that I just explained to you, that Nevaeh was always a daddy's girl. And I was like, well, damn, maybe I do. So I've been working real hard on not doing that. I'm really big on not making decisions based on emotion and making decisions based on fairness in all aspects of life. So when she called me out on that, I was like, oh, whoa, she's probably right, because Nevaeh has always been a daddy's girl, so I've been working real hard on treating them equal, so it's hard not to. Yeah, it's tough, but it's necessary a lot of times, I've always been one of those, like, it would always irritate the shit out of me. I call it my kid syndrome, that's what I call it. And dads are really bad about it when it comes to their daughters, and it would always piss me off. Like, how many women I've seen, who their dad they're raised to be a spoiled bitch. Like, and they treat people like shit, and they think they're entitled to. They think they can treat men like shit just because their dad lets them get away with it. And I would see their family dynamic, and it's just like your dad will literally sit there and let you act like a bitch just because he's your daddy. I vowed I will never do that, ever, period. I'm not going to raise them to treat men like shit just because they think they're entitled because they're a woman, So I've always made it a very, very strong point that just because you're my kid, that doesn't mean I'm going to let you get away with thinking you're entitled. No, I'm going to tell you straight up how it is. If I see you disrespecting somebody, I'm going to call you out on it. I'm going to raise you to respect anybody, anybody. I don't care if it's your friends. I don't care if it's your boyfriend. You're not entitled to anything. If you want to be respected, you be respectful. That's the way it is. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you're entitled to treat your man like shit and talk to him like a dog, and he has to put up with it just because you're a woman. I've seen a lot of that. I experienced a lot of that when I was a kid and when I was growing up and dating girls, and it would just piss me off. Like, man, dude, just because I'm a dude, I have to sit back and let you treat me and talk to me however you want, and I can't do anything. I can't defend myself because I'm a man, and you're just entitled to treat me however you want because you're a woman, and your dad let you get away with it growing up your whole life. No, I ain't gonna raise my kids like that. No, you find you a man, you need to respect him just like he needs to respect you. You know, it's just the way I look at it. Fairness, equal, give and take, fairness. You know what I mean? So that's I'm getting a little personal as far as like my beliefs and stuff like that go, but I'm very big on it. Very, very big on it. Yep. So anyway, yeah. I like I said, I do the best that I can to make decisions not based on fairness. And even though she is a daddy's girl, she's a daddy's girl, but I'll put her in her place. Oh yeah. And they're really, really good, man. They're so cool. You know, like when I pick them up from daycare and stuff like that, they're so much more. They're so much more social than I was when I was a kid. You know, they have so many friends, and I just see they're friends of all different kinds of people older than them, people younger than them, people, kids of all different races. Every other friend of theirs is, a black kid or an Asian kid or maybe a kid a few years older than them or a few years younger than them. And it's just like, man, they're so good with making friends. And every time they, like, because in the situation that we've been in, we've had them in a few different daycares here in Vegas, like boys and girls clubs and stuff like that. And they're always like, Daddy, I made new friends today. I'm like, really? That quick? Damn, man, when I was a kid, I didn't have friends. And if I made friends, it took me a long time. Like I've always been like one of those people that it takes me a while to let people in, so whatever, That's cool though. That's cool. I don't have to worry about them, making friends and whatnot. Oh, I don't really know where I was going with all that. That's why I come on here and chat. That's why I come on here and chat. But yeah, I'm tossing some ideas around. Of course, I'm an Aquarius, I'm an airhead. I play with a lot of ideas. Putting music, maybe put some cover songs, or if I write a new song, man. I haven't written a song. Oh man. Well, I wrote a few songs back in my early 20s that when I got my first job as a musician, they became pretty popular and locally, everybody wanted to hear me play them. And then when I kind of quit playing music, I acquired a guitar when I lived up there in Maine, not too long before I started reading tarot on YouTube. And my neighbor gave it to me. It was interesting. I don't even remember how it happened, but he said, "Oh, I have a guitar." We were having a conversation about, I don't even remember what we were talking about, but it somehow got up that I play guitar. And he's like, "Oh, I got one. You wanna play it?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So he handed it to me and I played it, and he goes, "Whoa, you're really good. You can have that." I was like, "What? What do you mean?" He's like, "I don't even know how to play the thing. Somebody bought it for me as like a birthday present, and I'm not interested in it, and you're really, really good at it. So here, you can have it." I was like, "Oh, okay." So that's when I sat down and I was 29. I hadn't written a song since I was like 21. So I sat down and wrote that one song that I put on YouTube a few weeks ago. But since then I haven't written another song. And it's hard for me to write a song because the mental space that I have to go to write a song, if you think about how music affects people, most people listen to music for the emotional stimulation. Wouldn't you say that's true? Most people are emotionally stimulated by people who relate to their struggles. Wouldn't you say that's true? So whenever you go to write a song, if you want to write a song that people really start to feel, because of the way we're kind of programmed in this society, you're almost required to dig up some dark shit, to dig up some real dark shit. And I really don't like the place that I have to go to mentally and emotionally to write a song. I just don't like it. I have to dig up lots of dark shit, and a lot of times a lot of negative shit. And I just don't like it. So I haven't written a song in a long time. But if I do decide to write a song, I'll put it on this channel. But I've been thinking about doing that. I've been thinking about putting cover songs on here. And then last night I got the cool idea that maybe I'll do some cooking on here from time to time, because I do throw some cool little dishes together from time to time, and Leah every now and then go get a cool little recipe like on Instagram or something like that, and that would make for some interesting stuff to do on this channel, So anywho, appreciate y'all tuning in. I gotta go here in a few minutes. I just like to keep it at an hour. I don't know why. That's just me. Don't know why. Like I was saying, it's different. Video content is different from YouTube and Facebook. Facebook is very short. People have a very short attention span on Facebook. And on YouTube, people's attention spans are longer, but right at about an hour, I think, is about most people. I'm not saying you guys have like a short attention span or anything, but most people, and I know myself included, if I'm going to watch a video like on YouTube or something like that, if it exceeds an hour, it's like, that's a little long. It's a little long for me, People who go live, like I've seen tarot card readers who will go live and do like an all signs video, and they'll spend like 10 minutes on each sign. And I'm like, dude, you're pushing like 2 hours on that tarot card reading video. It's too much, Too much. But anywho, I'm probably gonna go ahead and get off here and finish waking up. Might make me one more cup of coffee. I have, good God, I think like 3 or 4 more readings to do. We got hit with them. We got hit with a big bunch of them yesterday. She woke up and she said, oh, damn, because we already had plans for yesterday to go out to the farmer's market. And we woke up with an inbox filled with emails. And she goes, well, we're not going to be able to stay out and do too much today because the email inbox is flooded. And I was like, okay, that's cool, whatever. So, yeah, a bunch of people paid for readings yesterday, and I got most of them done, but some of them carried over into today. Okay, it is 24 hours from, as long as you provide everything you need to provide, it's 24 hours from the minute the payment clears. So like if you make the payment and you provide all your information, like the questions, what you want clarity on, and all this stuff, then it's 24 hours from the time the payment hits my account. If not, like sometimes people will pay and not send any questions at all, then the 24-hour mark is when I get your information, So yeah. Anyway, though, there's a few of them that still carried over to today. I think I have like 3 or 4 more. Oh, so I got a lot of work to do today. But yep, we're coming up on right at about an hour here. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, y'all. Oh, I don't know when I'll be back on next, but I'll see you sometime between now and the rest of all eternity. Y'all have a good day.